As we wrap up Africa Month, we caught up with a Cameroonian designer for some style tips. We had the privilege to taste what our South African chefs will be cooking while representing the country in Abu Dhabi. And it's champagne, darling, celebrating the International Sabraj Day. A young lady from Garankuwa changes the face of hot air ballooning sport. Colorful show coming right up.
It's the effortless combination of colors and meticulously tailored menswear that has earned Cameroon-born fashion mogul Fabrice Moyo a top spot in the fashion fraternity. One thing I've picked up since I've been here is that there seems to be some kind of a lot of blue, shades of blue. Are those the colors that symbolize your brand?
Just to give you a bit of background, I come from Western Cameroon. I'm a Bamileke, part of the Bamileke nation, and we have a very strong fabrication called the Zedo. It's actually an organic fabric that has a base of a blue. It's a tie-dye technique that my ancestors used for centuries, and the base is normally white, and the borders are red. If you Google it, you're gonna see. So this is why we have I've got a lot of blue into my work, because it's part of that culture. It's an extension of my culture. Obviously, if you look at this outfit, actually this outfit will be inspired by my culture, because the blue, as you can see, I've got other shades of blue there, and the border there also is always part of the Bamileke outfit. The Bamileke outfit always has a main color and the border color. So this outfit and the blue is actually part of the inspiration of the Bamileke culture.
If we step aside on this side of the showroom, this is very corporate, I must say.
Yes. I'm also known as the South African Shirt Authority. So which means that we started by making shirts. As you know, you have to be known, like all the major fashion houses in the world. They apply the same principle. They started by being known for one single product, and they perfected that product, and then they went into other products. If you remember, one of the richest men in the world, Jeff Bezos, Amazon founder, he started by selling books. After perfecting the selling of the books, then he went into, now you can almost buy anything on Amazon, which is what we did with us. We started by making very nice corporate wear, which was based on shirt. We perfected the art of making shirt, and that's why we're also known as the South African Shirt Authority, because I can tell you, Puleng, there's no one in this country, and probably in the Southern Hemisphere, who makes a better shirt than me. And in 2 years' time, I'm going to have the biggest shirt manufacturing in Africa.
Fabrice is building an empire that speaks to his childhood dream to take African designs to the world. Post-COVID, the dream has taken a different turn. Having shut down few of his stores, production has also required few seamstresses on site. As much as I've been walking in these heels, walking the floors, I actually want to take them off now. So is that how you sit when you're wearing a Frank Ellis jacket?
Yes, you need to unbutton the jacket so that it doesn't get crisps. Yes.
Okay, all right. Let's talk about the work that you've done with SA Fashion Week. I mean, you just had a show just a few weeks ago at Mall of Africa. Let's talk about what inspired that particular line. What were the trending colors, and what type of exclusive Frank Ellis touch did you add there?
Most of my clothes are inspired by my culture, my past, my life, and what I observe around me. So the thought process is always the same, and we always try and keep the same aesthetic, so that you can identify with the brand. But this year, what could be noted from this year is that we focus on sustainability. We also pull some of our idea from as you can know, is an history that I'm not so proud of, but it's part of my history nonetheless. Cameroon was colonized by the French, brutally so, and then but one thing about the French army garment, they are very tailored and very structured, and so I draw some of the inspiration from that. They say you can always look at it, from both ways. Yes.
A Frank Ellis piece is an absolute must-have. What better way to show you how to rock it than with the man behind the brand?
The South African Chefs Association is an organization that was founded in 1974. It was founded in 1974 for chefs and specifically for anything culinary. And it is a non-profit organization which is currently developed to an NGO. And what it does, it actually represents cooks and educate and professionalize cooks across the country in South Africa. And that is the purpose, the fundamental purpose of the organization.
We all love food, right? And I am a foodie myself. That is why I came to the South African Chefs Association to prepare an African-inspired dish. You do remember Still Africa Month, right? So come, join me. Let's cook together. What do we have here and how are we going to use this?
So we have our marinated chicken breast here. It's in a spicy little marinade which pairs well with the potato fondant that we have over here and the chakalaka. So today we're going to actually sear off the chicken and also make the chakalaka sauce. We're going to cook it down in some cream over here and then afterwards strain it and then emulsify it with some butter blocks. And then also, if you can look here, we have some celery ash, and we also have charred onion, and we have chakalaka, which we're even going to use in our plating besides for making the chakalaka sauce. There we go. And we're just going to slice our chicken at a nice low angle, so that we can plate with it. Nice.
And there you have it, our African-inspired dish. So we are about to taste. Whew. Where do I start?
So I'll grab some fondant with some sauce and
Okay.
a little bit of everything.
A
in
little
one
bit of
bite.
everything in one bite. A little bit of everything in one bite. Ooh. Can I just have this for now?
It's good. Give her a moment.
The South African Chefs Association's junior national team will be competing in the African Culinary Cup competition to be held in Abu Dhabi on the 1st of June. Chef Sia gave us a sneak peek of what they'll be cooking in the competition.
In South Africa, there's a lot of things that brings us together than what divides us. So when I had to put the menu together, I did not look at that pedantic or straightforward South African meal. I looked at areas that ties us together. One of those that I find was like a corn, basically, whether it's dried, whether it's fresh, whether it's in a maize meal, whether it's in any form. So we are a sponge that we're making with a maize meal. We've got some apricots that we're using on our starter. We're smoking the rainbow trout. And we find it here in Mpumalanga. You know, there's nice trout that is there, as well as we smoke it with rooibos. We use apricots there as well. The main course, we've got morogo, we have pap there, and we're just taking all the flavors that are South African and we're just putting them together in a mild way, and we're gonna go compete there and like make them taste weird.
It is now time to entice our sweet tooth. So, what's for dessert, Dana?
So we have a spice cake with a honey anglaise and a caramel twirl. So
All right.
we're gonna start making the anglaise.
Okay.
So we've got cream and a little bit of milk that's gonna go into our double boiler.
Okay.
Which is just a little pot with some water in it and the
Okay.
bowl on top.
Great.
Okay, then we're gonna add our sugar
All right.
and our honey.
After all that sweet preparation, it was now time to plate and taste.
And there we have it. Our spice cake with a honey anglaise and a caramel twirl.
It's also perfect for winter, and you will agree with me, it does look warm, hey? So, let's try it. Very palatable, and mouth-watering. If you wanna perfect your cooking and baking skills, just try and make sure you find where the South African Chefs Association are at and do this thing. Let's eat. Did you know that in this world we have a day where we celebrate Sabraj? So it's called the International Sabraj Day. Well, for those of you who don't know, let me teach you. Sabraj is that technique that people use when they're popping a bottle of champagne and they use like a sabi or a sword. Well, in light of that, we are somewhere in the north of Johannesburg to help you understand like one-on-ones on champagne. Why do we drink champagne? What do we pair it with? Why do we love it so much? Tonight it's all about bubbles. So next to me is Lynn, also known as the Champagne Chick, to teach us a thing or two about champagne. Lynn, welcome to Trendz Live.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure having you on the show. So Lynn, just tell us a bit. Today is the International Sabraj Day. Am I saying it right?
Sabraj Day, yes.
What is Sabraj? What is Sabraj?
Sabraj is the method of actually just popping the cork off the top of the bottle with a sword. Stems from Napoleon times when his light cavalry, their choice of weapon was a saber. It's a short-bladed sword, basically. And they drank a lot of champagne. They were gifted a lot of champagne, and the easiest way for them to open the bottle of champagne was to just swipe it off with the sword.
Lately, everyone, it's a trend. Drinking champagne now is a thing. I'm popping bottles, I'm doing this and that. What makes an essential part of champagne? What is champagne? Because sometimes we confuse it apparently with a sparkling wine. So just clarify on that part.
So champagne can only come from the Champagne region in France. Champagne essentially is a sparkling wine, but not all sparkling wine is champagne. So if it comes from the Champagne region in France, it's geographically protected. So if it comes from there, it can be called champagne.
Briefly, important terms, like for champagne lovers, what is it that they should know about champagne?
Firstly, what they should know is that it's made mainly from 3 grape varietals. And that is going to really tell you what type of champagne you like because of the grapes that is in that specific blend. Sometimes it's not even a blend, sometimes it is just pure Chardonnay, which would make it a Blanc de Blanc. Sometimes it's a blend of the 3 grape varietals. You've got Pinot Noir, you've got Chardonnay, you've got Pinot Meunier. And that is essentially what makes the champagne, and that will determine what you would like as a person, what your palate would prefer, knowing which grape varietals you prefer.
But when it comes to champagne, what's the best food to pair it with?
That is the beauty of champagne, because it's so versatile, because there are so many different blends, the grapes that go into it. Depending on what has been used to create that bottle of champagne, you can choose what to pair it with. So for every meal, for every occasion, there is a champagne. You are not necessarily going to have a demi-sec, which has got a quite high sugar content. First thing in the morning, you would probably want a brut champagne, but late in the evening or with a tart dessert, you will love a demi-sec.
Is it a celebratory drink, or can I just wake up on a Monday morning and feel like popping a glass of champagne, a bottle of champagne? Is it a what is it?
It is an everyday drink. You can wake up on a Monday morning and pop a bottle, because nobody can be sad when they've got a glass of champagne in their hand.
I love champagne because champagne is French and some champagne is life, you know. And when I come here, because my boyfriend lives there, we always open a bottle of champagne to celebrate our reunion. So it's like love, really love of champagne.
Oh my word, love champagne. Who doesn't love champagne? It's the best drink ever, and I love it because it's just, it's bubbles, it just lifts up your mood. And then I love it when it's even like a celebration, or sometimes on a Sunday with my cousins when we're just happy that, the weekend has ended.
Simakaleng Matebula expertly fires up the burner, aims a giant blue-orange flame towards the multicolored balloon, and watches as it fills with hot air and begins to lift off the ground. The 27-year-old is South Africa's first black hot air balloon pilot and one of few female pilots in the field. What used to feel unattainable is now part of her weekly routine.
So this is the baby we fly, this is the baby we qualify with, and this is your entry balloon. And as you accumulate hours, you get to fly bigger and bigger balloons.
Growing up, I had never seen a hot air balloon. There's no balloons flying over Harangua. My interests were cooking, accounting. At some point I wanted to do media, but ballooning was not something that was in reach for me. When I was introduced to the sport, it was this new and exciting field. And when I found my feet, I realized it goes beyond marketing. You found me on the field trying to retrieve and crew with everyone else. You found me in the kitchen trying to make sure the guests are eating and they're all happy. And then when the opportunity presented itself by the scholarship with the Department of Sport and Recreation and the Balloon and Airship Federation of South Africa, BAFSA, all the pilots put my name forward and I applied, and here I was being a pilot.
Soon, buildings grew smaller as she was floating over rivers and farmland as the sun rose, maneuvering the balloon and taking in the view against the yellow sky. Matebula found her way into ballooning by accident. After struggling to find employment, she consulted a recruitment agency which helped her find a job as a marketing assistant at a hot air balloon tour company. She was smitten.
So the first thing I had to overcome is being confident in myself. You know, when you don't have a point of reference, you always doubt if you'll be able to achieve what you're doing. And my instructor, Flip Stein, worked very hard in making sure that I felt like I belonged. And once you feel like you belong, everything else comes in naturally.
Okay, are you ready? Yeah. We really need new blood, younger blood in the sports thing, because a bunch of us, as we're growing old, and we need to get new people in, and this is why it's so nice to have people like Sema and some of the other kids that's trained now and busy training, because it's new. It's not just new opportunities, it's new viewpoints and new aspirations and stuff like that. And we need to be able, I think years back ballooning was a very exclusive club, whereas now it's becoming more open and open.
When we think of aviation, we think helicopters, we think your traditional planes, but ballooning is part of aviation. You are a pilot, it is an aircraft, and it is a field to explore. So I think that kept me going. I've always been motivated by letting people have a point of reference to something new, and it's an adventure. It teaches a lot of responsibility, and I developed the self-confidence in the sport that I would love to instill in people of the youth.
Sima also said she is keen to be an ambassador for the sport and hopes to bring in more youth and diversity. She will compete for the first time in South African Hot Air Balloon Championship next month.
Ever-changing views combined with luxurious accommodation and activities ranging from game viewing by tender boat into Chobe National Park. A cruise on the Chobe River should be on your bucket list. The boat cruises the Zambezi Chobe floodplains, providing a unique African safari tour of legendary rivers, pristine wilderness, and wildlife. The river begins its existence as a small mountain spring in Angola, where it is known as the Kwando. From here, it travels great distances through the Kalahari Sands before it reaches Botswana and becomes the Lenyati. It finally becomes the Chobe at the border post of Ngoma. This section of the river attracts an almost unbelievable density of game, including huge herds of elephants.
Elephants live up to 70 years, the lifespan. Elephants never stop eating. They keep on eating day and night. As you can see, that trunk, after holding the grass, its wipe or its wash is to remove the soil from the grass to protect their teeth. The elephant weighs 5,500 kg.
The bird life is extraordinary too, particularly in the wetter summer months. The wide banks and lush grass attract rare antelopes such as the red luchi and buku to the water's edge. The river is also home to 90 species of fish. But even without all the wildlife and bird life, the Chobe River is undoubtedly one of the most picturesque and tranquil places in Africa in its own right.
We hope you have enjoyed today's show. Do continue the conversation. It's at Trendz on SABC. From us, goodbye.